Alright, so listen, before we even breathe, before we even blink, before your thumb even thinks about scrolling past this video, I need every single one of you to lock in, because what Cardi B just walked herself into at Essence Festival is not a moment, it is not a mistake, it is not a slip of the tongue, it is a full-blown career-defining ambush, and by the time this video ends, you are going to understand why the entire internet is calling this the loudest, ugliest, most self-inflicted week Cardi B has ever survived in public. This is bigger than a lyric switch. This is bigger than a diss. This is Cardi B on a stage in front of thousands of people quietly erasing another woman's name from her own hit song in real time, and then, before the sweat even dried on that microphone, getting hit with an accusation so heavy, so spiritually explosive, so unhinged that half of TikTok stopped scrolling and stared at their screens like they just watched a seance go live. I'm telling you right now, this is the video where Cardi B stopped playing the victim and finally showed the entire industry the receipts everybody's been whispering about for months. Alright, y'all, buckle up, because we are unpacking every layer of this, the shade, the substitution, the babalao clip, the BBLs in hell line, the rebuttal, the snippet, the strip club section, the 3 in the morning live stream, and the moment Cardi B tried to gaslight her way out of it and got dragged so hard her lace front nearly filed a police report. Let's get straight into it. Real quick, for the ones just tuning in, here is the picture. Essence Festival 2026 was supposed to be a coronation weekend for black women in music. Latto was there. Cardi B was there. They did not share a stage, and after what happened, we now understand exactly why. Because when Cardi B ran through her hit, Every Time, she came to the part in the second verse where she historically shouts out Latto by name, and instead of saying it, Cardi B looked out into that crowd, opened her mouth, and swapped Latto's name for Bartier's. Just like that. Right in front of God, right in front of Essence, right in front of every fan in that arena with a camera phone pointed at her face. And the clip is out. Watch this yourself when it hits your timeline, because the pause before she says, Bartier, is the part that gives the whole game away. That is not a freestyle. That is not a slip. That is a woman who rehearsed the erasure. Cardi B knew exactly what she was doing. Cardi B knew exactly which name she was taking out. Cardi B knew exactly which name she was putting in. And now the internet has receipts, timestamps, and a very simple question: was that shade, or was that something worse? Now, honey, let me back up, because if you have not been keeping score on the Cardi B and Latto situation, you are about to be very, very confused about why this is the biggest deal on urban Twitter this weekend. These two used to be close. I mean genuinely close. Cardi B and Latto were texting every single day. Latto was on Cardi B's collab wishlist for years. Latto and Cardi B were being packaged by the industry as the sisterhood the culture needed. And then, in one afternoon, one clip surfaced online of Cardi B getting into it with Ice Spice, and in the middle of that mess Cardi B managed to throw a shot at Latto that nobody was expecting. That single clip fractured the entire relationship. Latto never publicly forgot it. Latto never publicly forgave it. And when Cardi B tried to walk it back, tried to send flowers, tried to send a bag, tried to send an apology, Latto looked at all of it, looked directly into the camera on her new album, Big Mama, and put it on record, talking about buying Big Mama a bag like my N******** ain't already bought it. That is the line. That is the shot. That is the moment Cardi B's apology tour officially ended in the ditch. And that is the context you need in your head before you understand what happened on that Essence stage. Because when Cardi B removed Latto's name from Every Time, it wasn't spontaneous, it was the receipt, delivered on stage, in front of witnesses, with the entire industry watching. And this is where it flips. Because Cardi B has a pattern, honey. Cardi B does not lose beefs quietly, and Cardi B does not lose beefs cleanly. Cardi B loses beefs in installments, and every installment gets uglier than the one before it. First it was the shade at Latto through Ice Spice. Then it was the failed apology. Then it was the pretending everything was fine on Instagram. Then it was Latto's diss on Big Mama. Then it was Cardi B pretending she never heard the diss. And now, this weekend, we finally get the response. Not a song, not a tweet, not a statement, but a public erasure of Latto's name from a Cardi B record. That is not a woman moving on. That is a woman who has been sitting in silence rehearsing exactly how she was going to answer, and Essence Festival was the venue she chose. Cardi B waited. Cardi B plotted. Cardi B performed. And now Cardi B has a whole new problem, because the internet did not read that erasure as strength, the internet read it as pettiness, and the internet started asking the question nobody in Cardi B's camp wanted asked. If this is how Cardi B handles a rap peer she used to call a sister, how does Cardi B handle everybody else in that inner circle who has ever wronged her? Alright, we're pivoting, because the Latto situation is only Act 1 of Cardi B's Weekend from Hell, and the second act is 1,000 times more dangerous. So sit down, sister, because we are about to walk into the part of this story that has religious grandmothers, hip-hop fans, and TikTok therapists arguing in the same comment section. A TikTok creator went live this weekend and pointed the finger directly at Cardi B, not for shade, not for a diss, not for a bad album rollout, but for spiritual manipulation. The creator claimed, on camera, with receipts he says he has, that Cardi B has been working with a babalao. For the ones who don't know, a babalao is a high priest inside the Santeria religion, an Afro-Cuban spiritual tradition with deep roots in West African Yoruba practice. The tradition has millions of respectful, devout practitioners, and inside the tradition, a babalao is not a villain. But that is not the framing this TikTok creator went with. He framed it as witchcraft. He framed it as manipulation. He framed it as spiritual warfare. And then he played a clip, a real clip, a Cardi B clip, where Cardi B casually says, on her own audio, "Of course I got my babalaos and everything." That clip is what turned the accusation from noise into evidence, because now the internet has Cardi B in her own voice acknowledging exactly what the creator said she was doing. And listen, this is the moment the whole conversation exploded, because the TikTok creator did not stop at the receipt. He kept going. He said the line that broke the entire internet in half. He said it plainly, he said it loudly, and he said it in a voice that told you he had been holding it for weeks. BBLs last in hell. That was the shot. That was the punchline. That was the sentence every screenshot account on Instagram put in its story within 30 minutes. And the reason that one line landed so hard is not the profanity, not the shock, it is the fact that it collapsed 3 of Cardi B's public identities into one sentence. Cardi B the rap star. Cardi B the body standard influencer. Cardi B the alleged Santeria practitioner. All of it, gone, in 5 words. And whether you agree with the creator or you think he crossed a line, you cannot pretend that sentence did not land. It landed. It landed in the algorithm. It landed in the group chats. It landed on Cardi B's phone, because within hours Cardi B was live, defensive, and swinging back, and I have that clip too, and I am going to walk you through it frame by frame. Because here is what Cardi B did next. Cardi B did not ignore it. Cardi B did not laugh it off. Cardi B did not send a lawyer. Cardi B went straight to her own audience, straight to the camera, and started delivering a rebuttal that, honey, made things worse. Cardi B said the whole thing was propaganda. Cardi B said TikTok was running a campaign to sabotage her brand deals. Cardi B said the goal was to take money out of her pockets, and when they took money out of her pockets, they were taking food out of her children's mouths. And Cardi B said, and I quote, that her company Grow Good was owned by the brim, meaning by her, and nobody could take it from her because God gave it to her, and only God could take it away. And listen, on paper, that is a woman defending her business. On paper, that is a woman standing on her name. But in context, in the middle of a witchcraft accusation, invoking God as your only judge is the kind of energy that reads less like defense and more like exactly the kind of spiritual grandstanding the accuser said Cardi B was doing in the first place. Cardi B did not close the loop. Cardi B widened it. And every publicist in the industry watching that live stream had the same thought at the same time: somebody get her phone. And here is where the trap snapped shut, because the internet remembered something. The internet remembered that Cardi B was the same woman who, only weeks earlier, was calling other people broke on a live stream. The internet remembered that Cardi B was the same woman who told her fans that they didn't know poverty until they'd seen it. The internet remembered that Cardi B is the same woman who, months earlier, was on record making a comment a lot of viewers took as homophobic, a comment the same TikTok creator now says he called out and got deplatformed for. So when Cardi B stands up and says, "They are running propaganda on me," the audience is not asking who they are. The audience is asking why Cardi B is the one person who keeps ending up in the middle of every they conversation. That is not a coincidence. That is a pattern. And patterns are what turn a bad week into a career narrative, and career narratives are what the algorithm eventually starts writing into the search results Cardi B's own children will one day type into a phone. Now, sister, if you think this ends with the Latto shade and the Witchcraft clip, you are underestimating just how loaded this weekend was. Because in between the Essence stage and the babalao live stream, Cardi B also managed to drop a snippet of a new song. And the snippet was aimed. The lyric was pointed. The lyric was, quote, "A baby ain't trapping me. Bye. I'll take my baby and get the F*** on." And every single person watching understood exactly who that lyric was for. That lyric was for Stefon Diggs. That lyric was for the receiver Cardi B just publicly walked away from months after welcoming a child with him. And when Cardi B's own fans tried to interpret the line, Cardi B jumped on live and clarified it herself: "Y'all keep saying I got trapped. Nobody trapped me. I trap me. And when I'm done, I'll leave. I'll take the house, the car, the dog, the cat, my baby, and I'll go." Sister, that is not a lyric. That is a legal document read out loud with a beat under it. And the fact that Cardi B felt she had to explain it, on the internet, in real time, at 3 in the morning, tells you exactly how much the criticism is getting under her skin. And listen, because this is where the audience finally saw the pattern. Every time Cardi B goes outside, every time Cardi B walks into a club, every time Cardi B posts a bottle service section, every time Cardi B lets that same repetitive video of her body rolling in a strip club leak, the same conversation restarts. Where are the children? Who is watching the children? Why is a 33-year-old mother of 4 choosing the club at the exact frequency her critics predicted she would? And Cardi B, to her credit, has an answer for it. Cardi B says, "If I'm going to spend $10,000 on a section, $8,000 on bottles, $2,000 on hookah, I am going to enjoy every dollar of that experience." Which, honey, is a fair position. Cardi B works. Cardi B earns. Cardi B is entitled to spend her own money. That is not the argument. That has never been the argument. The argument the audience keeps making, the argument Cardi B keeps missing, is not about whether Cardi B can go out. It is about whether Cardi B chooses to go out at the exact moments her personal life is publicly falling apart. It is about whether the timing looks like joy, or looks like avoidance. And right now, to a lot of people watching, it does not look like joy. It looks like a woman running from something the whole internet can already see catching up to her. Because think about the timeline, sister. Think about what Cardi B has walked through in the last 12 months in front of a camera. Cardi B ended her marriage to Offset. Cardi B had a 4th child. Cardi B entered a public relationship with Stefon Diggs. Cardi B publicly ended the relationship with Stefon Diggs. Cardi B released an album that underperformed against the expectations her team had set. Cardi B watched Latto pass her on the charts with a diss aimed at her chin. Cardi B watched Doja Cat and Latto drop a video the same weekend Cardi B tried to slip out a snippet. Cardi B has been dragged in cycles by fans, ex-fans, industry commentators, and now, as of this weekend, by a TikTok live streamer with a religious warfare accusation and a 5-word punchline that is going to outlive this news cycle. That is not a bad week. That is a career inflection point, and Cardi B is meeting it with clubbing footage and a snippet she posted before she even had a title for it. Read that again. Cardi B dropped a song snippet on the internet without a title. That is not strategy. That is panic. And this is the part that I want you to sit with. Because Cardi B's defense to all of it, in her own words, comes down to one line she keeps repeating: "I'm a phenomenal mom. Nobody can take that from me." And nobody is trying to take that from Cardi B. Nobody. The audience is not attacking Cardi B's love for her children. The audience is not questioning whether Cardi B feeds, clothes, and holds her babies. The audience is asking a very different, very quiet question, a question every mother in the comments understands even if she does not type it out loud. The question is, at what point does a public parent become responsible not just for how much she loves her children, but for what her children will one day see when they Google their mother? Because Cardi B's children are going to grow up. Cardi B's children are going to have phones. Cardi B's children are going to have friends. Cardi B's children are going to have search bars. And what those children find is going to be shaped, permanently, by the choices Cardi B is making on live stream, in the club, and in the studio right now. That is not a hater's opinion. That is a timeline. And Cardi B keeps talking past it, and the more Cardi B talks past it, the louder the silence from her camp gets. Sister, let me tell you what makes this week different from every other Cardi B controversy, and I want you to really hear me. Cardi B has been in the headlines for 8 years. Cardi B has beefed with Nicki. Cardi B has beefed with Bia. Cardi B has beefed with Azealia. Cardi B has beefed with practically every woman with a microphone. Cardi B has always come out on the other side of it. But every single one of those beefs happened while Cardi B was on the ascent. Every one of those beefs happened while Cardi B was the shiny new thing. This one is different. This one is happening while Cardi B is trying to convince the industry she still has a fourth quarter, a legacy record, a defining moment, a headline album. And she is losing that fight in slow motion. Latto is louder. Doja is bigger. Ice Spice is younger. Sexy Red is hungrier. And Cardi B is, right now, out here at 3 a.m. defending a lyric snippet on Instagram Live instead of finishing the album her label has been begging her to close. That contrast is the whole story in one sentence. And this is exactly the moment the TikToker's babalao accusation lands the hardest, because it doesn't just attack Cardi B on ethics, it attacks Cardi B on the one commodity Cardi B has always sold to her audience: authenticity. Cardi B built her brand on being the raw one. The unfiltered one. The one who says exactly what she thinks. The one who is not putting on a costume. And the accusation is that behind all of that raw, unfiltered, no costume public persona, Cardi B has been doing very private spiritual work she does not want her audience to know about. Whether that is true or not, the accusation is aimed at the softest, most valuable part of the Cardi B brand, and it is landing. It is landing on TikTok. It is landing on Twitter. It is landing on the exact demographic that used to defend Cardi B for free. And when a demographic that used to defend you for free suddenly stops showing up in the comments, that is not a moment. That is a market signal. Now, watch this yourself, because Cardi B's live rebuttal is where the tape really tells the story. Cardi B did not calm down. Cardi B did not take a breath. Cardi B did not consult a publicist. Cardi B went straight to the camera with her hair wrapped, with the lights half on, with her voice already at 11, and started spinning. Cardi B said propaganda. Cardi B said food out my kid's mouth. Cardi B said God gave it to me and only God can take it. Cardi B said, you can't take what God gave me. Cardi B kept saying it. She kept saying it because she needed to hear herself say it. Because underneath every one of those words is a woman who understands, at some level, that this week is different, and that the algorithm is not on her side the way it used to be. That is the tell. That is why the rebuttal did not close the loop, because Cardi B herself did not believe it enough to stop repeating it. And repetition, in the age of the algorithm, is not conviction. Repetition is anxiety with a filter on it. Ma, let me put this on the table plainly. Cardi B is at a crossroads. Not a public one. A private one. Cardi B has to choose between the club and the studio. Cardi B has to choose between the live stream and the notebook. Cardi B has to choose between the receipts and the record. Because right now, every hour Cardi B spends defending a witchcraft accusation on Instagram Live is an hour Cardi B is not spending closing an album that could reset her narrative in one weekend. Cardi B knows this. Cardi B's team knows this. Cardi B's label knows this. And the reason the propaganda talk lands so hollow is that a woman who was truly focused on her music would not be responding to a TikTok stream at 3 in the morning. She would be in the booth. She would be finishing the record. She would be answering with a hit. That is how the great ones close a bad news cycle. They release the song. They release the video. They release the tour date. They release the deal. Cardi B is releasing rants. And rants do not chart, rants do not stream, rants do not go platinum, and rants do not survive the next news cycle. And listen, I have to say this because too many commentators keep missing it. The witchcraft angle is not the story. The homophobic comment angle is not the story. The Stefon Diggs breakup is not the story. The Essence lyric switch is not the story. The story, the actual story, the one thing that connects every single beat of this week, is that Cardi B has lost control of her own narrative. Every single one of these dramas is Cardi B reacting to somebody else's move. Latto moved, Cardi B reacted. The TikToker moved, Cardi B reacted. Diggs moved, Cardi B reacted. Doja and Latto dropped a video, Cardi B rushed out a snippet as a reaction. That is not a superstar dictating the news cycle. That is a superstar being dictated to. And in this industry, in 2026, in a world where Sexy Red drops a viral moment every 72 hours and Ice Spice's team engineers a trending page takeover every 3 weeks, being the reactor instead of the actor is the fastest way to lose your ceiling. Cardi B is not being cancelled. Cardi B is being lapped. And getting lapped is worse than getting cancelled, because cancelled artists can come back, but lapped artists just disappear into the middle of the pack while somebody younger reads their eulogy on TikTok. Because sit with this, Cardi B is 33 years old. Cardi B is a mother of 4. Cardi B is in the second decade of her fame. And the version of Cardi B that once flipped a love and hip-hop appearance into a Grammy is not the same version of Cardi B who is currently arguing with a TikTok live streamer about a babalao clip in the middle of the night. That is a version regression, and version regressions in this industry are lethal. Because the algorithm rewards artists at the top of their curve. The algorithm punishes artists whose engagement is trending toward damage control. And every single hour Cardi B is trending for a rant instead of a release, the algorithm learns that Cardi B is a defensive content creator, not a leading content creator. That is a demotion, and it happens quietly, and by the time an artist notices, the reset is already priced in, the playlists are already resorted, and the label is already testing the next signee for the slot Cardi B used to own. Now, sweetheart, let me tell you what the Barty loyalists in the comments are going to say, because we already know. They are going to say the media hates Cardi B. They are going to say the industry is scared of Cardi B. They are going to say every accusation is coordinated. They are going to say the babalao clip is out of context. They are going to say Latto started it. They are going to say Cardi B has every right to enjoy her money, dance in her clubs, take her flights, and answer nobody. And you know what, sweetheart? On several of those points, the Barty loyalists are not wrong. Cardi B does have the right to enjoy her money. Cardi B does have the right to answer nobody. Nobody in the culture is disputing Cardi B's rights. The culture is disputing Cardi B's judgment. And judgment is not a right. Judgment is a choice. And every choice Cardi B makes on live stream, on stage, on a lyric, on an apology, on a rebuttal, is being read by an audience that has watched this playbook run twice already. Once with Offset. Once with the album rollout. And now, once with Stefon Diggs and the babalao clip stacked on top of each other in the same weekend. 3 strikes is a pattern. 4 strikes is a diagnosis. And I want to talk about Stefon Diggs directly, because Cardi B keeps trying to bury him in metaphors and side-mouth references, but the man is still standing in the middle of every song, every snippet, every lyric Cardi B drops this year. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs welcomed a baby together in the fall. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs were public. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs were photographed. Cardi B and Stefon Diggs were the story. And then, on Cardi B's timeline, Stefon Diggs disappeared. The child arrived. The relationship ended. The confirmation came. And Cardi B walked away with the baby, the story, and the microphone. And now, in Cardi B's new snippet, Cardi B is telling the world that a baby was never going to trap her, that she was always going to leave, that the receiver never had a chance, that if it came down to it Cardi B was walking out with the house, the car, the pet, and the baby. That is a public position. That is a stated public plan. And that is the sound of a superstar closing a chapter on a father she chose, in front of that father's entire fanbase. Whether Cardi B is right, whether Stefon Diggs deserved it, whether the child is better off, the audience is not the judge of that. But the audience is the judge of how the story is being told. And Cardi B is telling it while dancing in a section she just spent $10,000 on, with her nannies on a plane to another country with 3 of her children in tow. Alright, honey, I need you to catch the trap here. Because Cardi B is telling us that a baby cannot trap her, that she will always take her babies and go, that she is the boss of her own life. But every single Instagram live Cardi B goes on to defend herself, every single strip club section Cardi B books, every single 3 a.m. rebuttal Cardi B posts is the receipt that Cardi B has, in fact, trapped herself in a version of celebrity that no longer fits her age, no longer fits her responsibility, and no longer fits the strategic moment her career is in. Cardi B is not being trapped by a man. Cardi B is being trapped by the version of Cardi B she refuses to update. That is the softest, quietest, most devastating diagnosis in this entire story, and it is the one Cardi B refuses to speak on. Because if Cardi B speaks on it, Cardi B has to change. And change is a thing this internet has not yet seen Cardi B do at scale. Change is the one word missing from every single Cardi B live stream this year, and its absence is louder than every propaganda and every "God gave it to me" put together. And listen, we cannot close out without talking about Latto again, because Latto is winning this exchange in a way even the Bardi loyalists cannot spin. Latto did not chase a rebuttal. Latto did not go on Instagram Live at 3 a.m. Latto did not release a snippet. Latto released a whole album, and the album has a song, and the song has a line, and the line has a target, and the target has the biggest name in the game. Latto let Cardi B walk into the trap voluntarily. Latto let Cardi B remove Latto's name from a song, on stage, and then Latto let the internet make Cardi B look small for doing it. That is chess. That is calm. That is a woman who understands that the loudest voice in a room is almost never the one who is winning the room. And every single time Latto refuses to respond, Cardi B has to respond bigger, and every bigger response Cardi B files just widens the gap between them. Latto is playing this cold. Cardi B is playing this hot. And in this industry, cold wins. Always. Every era. Every generation. The cold one is the one who ends up on the retrospective documentary. So where does Cardi B go from here? Honey, that is the real question, and the honest answer is that Cardi B has to make a decision this week she has been avoiding for 3 years. Cardi B has to decide if she is a rapper or if she is a lifestyle brand. Because Cardi B cannot be both at this altitude, not at this age, not with this level of scrutiny, not with the album cycle looming, not with a baby in one arm and a live stream in the other. If Cardi B decides she is a rapper, then Cardi B goes back into the booth, finishes a record that answers Latto with music instead of with erasure, and lets the work do what the rants have not been able to do. If Cardi B decides she is a lifestyle brand, then Cardi B accepts that the music conversation is over, that the crown is passing, and that the next chapter is grow good, endorsements, television, and a foundation built on the name and not the discography. Either path is legitimate. Either path is viable. Neither path is being chosen. And that is the problem, because every day Cardi B refuses to choose, the algorithm chooses for her, and the algorithm always chooses the safer, quieter, more replaceable version, the version that costs the platform nothing to demote when the next controversy hits. And this is why the babalao accusation was so surgical, and why it hurt so much, and why Cardi B could not let it go. Because at its core, that accusation asked a question Cardi B has never wanted asked out loud: what does Cardi B actually believe? Not what does Cardi B say on a stage. Not what does Cardi B post at 2 a.m. What does Cardi B, alone, in the dark, in her own house, in her own head, actually believe about the source of her success? Is it hustle? Is it luck? Is it God? Is it the babalaos? Is it the label? Is it the audience? Is it herself? Cardi B does not have to answer that question for us. But Cardi B does have to answer it for herself, because until Cardi B answers it, every future accusation is going to hit the exact same nerve, and every future rebuttal is going to sound exactly this defensive, exactly this loud, exactly this brittle. And that brings me to the last thing I need you to hear, and I need you to hear it clean. The internet is not Cardi B's enemy. The critics are not Cardi B's enemy. Latto is not Cardi B's enemy. The TikToker is not Cardi B's enemy. Time is Cardi B's enemy. Because time is the only opponent no superstar has ever beaten, and time is currently asking Cardi B a question every artist eventually has to answer: what do you want your second decade to look like? Do you want it to look like the first decade, on repeat, with slightly older kids and slightly younger critics? Or do you want it to look like the version Beyoncé chose, the version Rihanna chose, the version Jay chose, the version where the noise gets smaller and the craft gets larger? Cardi B is at that fork. Cardi B is at that mirror. Cardi B is at that hour. And the fact that Cardi B is spending this hour on a live stream defending a babalao clip tells us, for now, which fork Cardi B is leaning toward. And that lean is what has half the industry watching with concern, not contempt. Concern is worse than contempt, because contempt keeps you relevant, and concern is the polite word for a career being written off in real time. And once concern shows up in the boardroom, the label starts talking about pivot projects instead of flagship albums, and every artist who has ever heard that phrase from an A&R has known exactly what it meant. Let me hit you with one more layer, because we cannot pretend the Doja Cat and Latto video released the same weekend was an accident. That video was engineered. That video was scheduled. That video was picked to drop at the exact hour Cardi B was expected to have the culture's attention. And when Cardi B saw that timeline dominance slipping, when Cardi B saw the Explore page turn purple and pink instead of red and black, Cardi B did the one thing a strategist would have told her not to do. Cardi B rushed a snippet out of the vault with no title, no rollout, no video, no marketing, no press. Cardi B panicked. And panic is the one emotion a superstar cannot afford to show on public feed. Because the moment your audience smells panic, your audience starts writing your obituary, and the obituary is always faster than the comeback. That is not a Cardi B rule. That is a music industry rule. Every artist who ever fell out of the top tier fell out of the top tier the exact same way, a panic move on a Friday night that they could not walk back on Monday morning. Ask any veteran manager in this city, and they will tell you the same story about a different name, and every time it starts with an unplanned snippet dropped at midnight to chase somebody else's viral hour. And listen, I want to be clear on one thing, because the comments section is already forming up. I am not here to bury Cardi B. Cardi B is a Grammy-winning rap star. Cardi B is a cultural landmark. Cardi B changed the sound of women in hip-hop. Cardi B put Bronx flavor back on the pop chart. Cardi B stood on business when nobody else with her background could get a meeting in Manhattan. Cardi B earned every dollar in her bank account. Cardi B raised the ceiling for the artists standing on her shoulders right now, including Latto, including Ice Spice, including Sexy Red. So nothing in this video is about erasing Cardi B's legacy. Cardi B's legacy is fixed. Cardi B's legacy is in the Library of Congress. But legacy is not the same as trajectory, and trajectory is what this week is testing. Cardi B's legacy will be fine. Cardi B's trajectory is the question mark. And every choice on that live stream at 3 a.m. is the answer. Because in this business, legacy is what they play at the tribute concert, but trajectory is what pays the mortgage on the next house, and Cardi B has 4 children who need Cardi B to keep both of those columns filled. So drop your take below and tell me straight up, is Cardi B the villain of this week's story, or is Cardi B the victim of a coordinated internet pile-on? Do you think Latto is playing chess and Cardi B is playing checkers, or do you think Latto crossed a line first? Do you buy the propaganda defense, or do you think the accusations landed because there is something behind them? And finally, the one I really want you to answer, if Cardi B never puts out another hit again, if the music stops charting, if the cosigns dry up, does Cardi B still get to call herself a rap star, or does the industry write a new definition on top of her name? Tell me. Tell me in the comments. Tell me on my last video too, because the Latto response tape is going up next and I want your predictions before the numbers come in. And be honest, this comments section is where the culture writes the first draft of the record, and I read every single one. And listen, before you close this video, before you scroll away, before you promise yourself you'll come back later, I need you to understand where this saga is going. Because Latto is not done. Cardi B is not done. The TikToker is not done. Stefon Diggs is not done. And the album cycle has not even fully opened. The next 30 days are going to test Cardi B in a way the last decade never has, and every one of us watching is going to remember exactly where we were when the culture officially decided which version of Cardi B was going to survive the next chapter. I'm going to be here for every beat of it. I'm going to break every clip. I'm going to run every timeline. I'm going to tell you the truth even when the truth